Welcome to the show, friend. We are in the middle of a 7-part series dealing with the right to keep and bear arms, self-defense, the use of force. And I again want to say that this show may have elements that are not age appropriate for small children. So you might want to have your children leave the room depending on their age and their emotional, intellectual capacity to hear these things. You don't have to be a prophet to see that our nation is in a crisis. We're going to talk today a little bit about petitions, what they do, what they don't do. We're going to talk about when duty calls upon us to die for our freedoms, and even the times in history when people took the lives of other human beings to protect freedom. These are troubling discussions, but they're critical discussions. Enjoy the program. Back to the program, friend. This is the Voice of Resistance. I trust that because you watch this program, you are among the few Americans who have not been seduced by bread and circuses, who have not been lulled to sleep by the siren song, but that you are grieved, that you fear, that you are asking God and your friends, what do we do? I want to take a minute to explain to you what's at stake and to encourage you to say, God, here am I, send me. Later on in the program, I'm going to read the text of the Wyoming law that may be the example of what saves us. And I'm going to read to you the petitions from citizens of several states who petitioned the White House to secede from the Union. And Steve Stockman, congressman from Texas, is already discussing the possibility of impeachment if Obama goes through with these executive orders. By way of quick background, Joe Biden turned in his suggestions to the president a day early. The White House has now leaked that they have 19 executive orders that they intend to issue by the end of this week, infringing upon our Second Amendment rights. This is, without exaggeration, the placing of the hands around the neck of American liberty with the intent to strangle it. We'll cover it as we go forward. But there's a lot of people who might be watching, wondering, why are you so preoccupied with all this? Well, first of all, there's several reasons. Let me give you one quick background. Have you ever heard of the world superpower Portugal? How about Spain? Holland? England? Do you understand that there have been great world powers that have come and gone? Spain is right on the edge of being a third world country in many aspects. They used to be the dominant force in the world. Because most of us don't study history, we fail to see that the greatness that is America as an economic superpower and as a military superpower is pretty new. Think about this. Prior to World War II, our foreign policy was one of isolationism. People came to America, they fled to America because of freedom and because of the chance for economic growth for their family, land ownership, start a business, low taxes. People risked their lives crossing the Atlantic, risked their lives crossing mountain ranges as they moved west, not for free stuff, but for freedom. Those freedoms are being strangled. We're losing them on the installment plan. And I have come to the conclusion, and you need to hear me, and I'm going to take a break and we'll read the law, but you need to hear me on this. We've passed the point of no return. There is going to be a major collapse in this country. There's several variables. Number one, will it be quick or will it be slow? Number 2, will it involve convulsions and violence? Number 3, will we turn it around and retain the 50 states? Number 4, will there be states that secede from the Union, such as Texas, that has the legal right to do so? Number 5, if states do attempt to secede, will the federal government use violence to try and stop them, as happened in the Civil War? But you've got to understand things from God's perspective. There is a God in heaven. He made eternal laws, and when those laws are violated, there's hell to pay, literally. The fact that we have the blood of innocent human beings crying from the ground for vengeance is one area where we have sealed our fate for some type of horrific judgment. The abominable sins of the militant homosexuals, those are also listed as reasons that the land will vomit someone out in the scriptures. The land will vomit out the people. We have the economic reality, a debt that we can never repay. All right, so there's going to be an economic collapse. As sure as you and I are here, there's going to be one. And now you have the move towards making us a subjugated people to our government. So when you add all of these things, you have the perfect storm coming for social convulsion, the demise, the breaking up of a great empire, and perhaps horrific violence. So the question is, when we hit bottom, wherever that is, who will emerge as the new leaders? Because somebody has to rebuild. Somebody will be standing on the rubble. Will it be Winston Churchill or Adolf Hitler? Remember, Hitler came to power because Germany was in chaos. So part of why I'm doing this show is so that you prepare yourself to be a part of the team of either leaders or servants who restore the republic or restore the remains of the public to a true declaration of independence, theocentric, God-centered foundation. Because if we don't, then we're going to go from the convulsions that are coming to true tyranny like we've seen in many nations of the world. And yes, I am comparing where we're headed with the Nazis, fearlessly, because I know history. And if you don't agree with me or you just have a knee-jerk reaction against it, it's because you don't know your history. It's not my problem and my fault that you're a victim of a poor education. But I'm here to offer you a cure. That's why we have this show, and that's why we have the books, tapes, videos that we offer. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, the bill in Wyoming, more, and more. I'll talk to you.